How's it going, party people? I just came back from a whole weekend of playing board games at QuestCon in Orlando, Florida. I had a great time, and one of the games I had the privilege of playing a few more times is Root. Absolutely love this game. Sorry to spoil it for you. Let's go ahead and talk about this game. This before we buy video, we'll cover all the objective facts about the game and my subjective opinion about the game. Make sure to watch the whole way through before you comment, unless you comment right now. If you play Root, tell me your favorite faction of Root. Mine is the Lizard Cult without a question. The publisher of Root is the legendary Leader Games. The designer of Root, I don't know if all the different factions and expansions have different designers, but from what I see on BGG, the designer of Root is Cole Whirl. The player count of Root is 1 to 6. It's very strongly suggested to cap it at 3 or 4 players, but I have played at 6 players and it was a good time regardless. The weight of Root, I would say, is 3.5 out of 5. I want to say 4 actually, but overall there's some factions that aren't too difficult to understand and grasp. It's more so very difficult to win the game with experienced players. The teach of this game, I can't even say how long it takes to teach, but the teach for this game is hard because of the fact that it's a completely asymmetric game, and you have to teach every individual player their individual and full unique faction. The only time you might be able to do a BOGO is the fact that there's allowed to be 2 vagabonds in the game simultaneously, meaning if you have a game of 4 or 5, you can teach 2 people the exact same time, the exact same game, but other than that, every single player has to be a completely unique faction. If you're playing with people who've never played before, you have to explain the game to every single player. Even those who have played the game before, you're going to have to explain that specific faction to them. Even if you played against it, it's completely different than playing the faction yourself. So you have to have all the factions memorized that the players are using, and it is a very daunting experience, and it's something I do not look forward to ever doing, nor do I think I'm capable of, even after playing the game 4 times. The length of the game is 30 minutes per player, which means it scales pretty well. If you play 2 players, you can get it done in about 60 minutes. Play 3, 90, 4, 2 hours, and so forth. I think it scales very well, except whenever we had 6 players, it ended in about 4 or 5 hours, but it was almost everyone's first time. And if it wasn't their first time, it was the first time in a long time, so 30 minutes per player is very fair. The theme of Root is animal warfare strategy. High strategy, every single faction is a different type of animal, and I think it's fantastically done. The 3 primary utilization mechanics, the 3 primary mechanics of Root are a fully asymmetrical, variable player powers experience, complete need to utilize resource management properly, and hand management. There's a lot of management going on because you have limited resources and very limited card draw and card utilization, and it's fully asymmetric. So those are by far the most relevant mechanics. The only thing I would add as a 4th, maybe, if we just combine the management into one, is area control. A lot of factions rely on area control, but not every single one, just a lot of them. The unique hook for this game is just complete and utterly, fully asymmetric strategy. If you like asymmetric gameplay and people starting with some unique factions, this game, I have yet to see a game come to this level yet. It is a completely unique utilization for each faction. Not for the expansions, not just once you add this or that, fully unique for every single character, even in the base box. All like 4 or 5 factions in the base box are completely different. The Vagabonds are a single individual trying to play like an RPG, going places, almost leveling up while grabbing items and trading with allies. You have the Marquis, who has a huge claim on the territory, and they have to build things effectively. Just build things in the right way. You have the Woodland Alliance, which takes so long to get your first location on the board, but once you do, you're spawning minions everywhere, basically. You have the Lizard Cult, my favorite, where you are literally utilizing other people's workers in order to spawn on the board, and you can pop it wherever you want, and you can swap, and you don't move, you just throw more workers on the board and take over. It's a very unique experience, no matter how it is. Everyone's utilizing the same deck for the most part, and the same items. It's just in complete and utterly variable ways. It's very interesting. The price of this game, MSRP, is $60, and it actually sticks pretty close to that, even in used. You maybe see it at $40, but for the most part, games that are really, really good stick around the MSRP just because it's hard to resell, and when they do, they don't really want to. And usually it's actually a full collection with the expansions, meaning that when you buy the game, you might get a decent deal, but you're not spending $60, you're spending like $200 because it comes with all the factions, the hirelings, the optional content, the cards, the map, and the sleeves, this, that. It's completely unique, completely independent of almost any other type of game. The setup time completely varies depending on faction, but I would say about 5 to 10 minutes per play for setup, meaning some people just have to put a couple tokens on the board and one thing on the board. Some people have to play and place dependent upon other units on the board. There is the right way to place, which in the back of your player board, everyone has a letter, and you do it alphabetically. So A goes first, then B, then C, then D, then E, and it's completely dependent upon who's playing the game. You're going to hear that phrase a lot because this game, by being fully asymmetrical, is a completely different experience based on everyone that's playing the game in different ways. The only comparison I have to this game, there's other unique games, there's other asymmetrical games, but honestly, Leaders has a good understanding of the core audience, and their, I think, sequel game, unofficial sequel game, Ahoy, is the only game that's close. It's another independent, fully asymmetric gameplay, but also the characters play more similarly because they all have the same primary mechanics of just dice utilization in various different ways, and the boards are different, but still, depending upon the numbers you roll, it's overall more so the same, rather than how everyone in Root plays completely differently. It's more a lighter variable version of Root in a completely different way. It's just less balanced because one faction wins almost every single time. Like every single time I hear people play it, the same faction wins. The target audience of Root, I would say, are high strategy gamers. People who love high strategy, significant gameplay, and like tactician skills. People who like thinking turns in advance and how to best utilize the board state and the players that are involved in the game and the factions and knowing how to go against all this stuff. This is for you. If you like planning, if you like high strategy, if you like impressive and immersive gameplay, Root is the game for you, like no questions asked. I'm not even gonna do a how to play section because again, every single faction plays completely differently. But overall, whoever gets to 30 points wins. You get points based on whatever's on your player board, as well as taking cardboard items from other players. Everything else is completely varied, and there's no other way to describe it. You all utilize cards, you all draw cards, and you use the cards you have in order to do things on the board. And that's it. That's all everyone has in common. That's literally it. Now, going to the my opinion section of this review, let's talk about how Root feels. Root feels very cutthroat and aggressive. Even if you're not a militant faction, meaning a faction that has high aggression and a lot of board presence, it is still cutthroat. You're still on the edge of your seat. You're still like fighting for your life. It's never any real peace. You're always nervous someone's gonna take your items, take stuff on the board from you. It's very nitty gritty. It's cute. I'm not gonna lie. Like it feels nothing like the box. The box art's kind of cute. 2D cartoons, unique art style, animal woodland creatures. Doesn't feel anything like that. It feels very aggressive. It literally feels like, if you know the graphic comic Moss, a game about Nazi Germany where the cats are Hitler and the Germans and the mice are the Jews. It literally feels like that, where it's like a graphic art kind of cute comic with very gritty and gory gameplay. Similar translation for Root, no lie. In the best kind of way though. It's not super mean all the time, because there's some rules to balance out how many things you can take at once with the dice. But overall, it is pretty aggressive. Like there's no shot around it. If you don't like aggression, if you don't like direct conflict in this game, stay away from Root. Stay away from Ahoy. Stay away from Arcs. Leader games just might not be for you. They have a new semi-co-op called Take, but I feel like Take's could be a little backstabby based on the fact that it's about robbing. So I'm not gonna lie, Leader games. The only game that isn't super aggressive from them is Fort. It's literally about kids building the best fort in the tree. So, anyways, it's pretty aggressive. Root looks really cute. I'm not gonna lie, like there's no way about it. The board presence is very nice. There's cardboard chits everywhere. You have empty space, and the map is beautiful. The art is it's just really cute. Everyone has a nice screen printed meeples, only on one side though, which is in my opinion slightly regrettable, but understandable, okay, based on the pricing of screen printed minis and how many minis exist for every single faction. It does look cute. Like, it's deceptively cute. I know a lot of people want to play the game based on the name and then the looks, and then if you actually know anything about Root, do yourself a favor and warn others. When they say, oh, what's this game about? Describe the game as a fully asymmetric gameplay and describe how everyone's playing a different game. And many people will be rooted out, ironically enough. They'll be weeded out from that alone. And that way people don't have a horrible experience and say negative things. I know so many people that like describe Root in a negative way because they wanted to play a fun board game and they got hit with a really, really intensive board game. And it was deceptive. And honestly, if the person didn't warn them ahead of time, it's on them, because people should not be getting negative experience from Root if they were aforementioned warned. What I like about Root, I'm not gonna lie, when I got into the board game scene, Root was one of the earlier games I played. I played way too heavy games when I first got into board gaming. I started off with Munchkin, literally in college, and then I got into, when I decided to jump full dive in 2021, 2022. I got into Scythe, I got into Arc Nova, and then I got into Root. And Root is so impressive. Like, once you get into the actual design elements of Root, designing a core game like Root that does not need to be very much altered or negated in order to add more expansion content, that is still fully different. There's no faction that plays even close to each other. Genuinely, the Lord of the Hundreds were the new factions, and then the Keeper of the Iron, I believe they call it, the Iron Badgers. Like, all of these are so unique and can be interchanged and intertwined to have a very fun time. Like, you can play a faction that you really like, and also you can play other factions that have still a high chance of winning if you understand the overall style of Root. You have an advantage if you've played more of the characters on the field than others. Like, if I've played everyone's character on the field, I know how they work, as long as I've remembered how they work. But still, you don't really need to know how everyone plays. You need to know how you play, and you need to know what everyone's goals are. And it's nice to read your card out loud. Everyone has an overview card they read to the table, and they can share with the table to show them, this is what I want. So, like, we had, I believe the moles wanted to craft items, and as me, the vagabond, I might want those items. We have Lord of the Hundreds, which also wants items. We have the Lizard Cult, which we know wants board presence to exist so they can exchange and convert other people's meeples into the Lizard Cult. It's just so cool. I can't explain and describe how much I like this game and all the things I like with this game and all the extra little tidbits we have with this game, to be fully honest. What I don't like about the game is one of the few times I can't really say anything. There's nothing I don't like about this game. Like, since I enjoy heavier games, since I enjoy combat aggressive games, and since I enjoy games that have intense, like, war feels, where it's not like just take that, where it's like, I'm playing this card and you lose half your power. That's kind of lame. And this one, it's very tactical. It's very strategic with what's going on in the future, with what other people are doing around you. The relationships in the game matter for good reason. Warning other people of advancing conflicts, like, oh my gosh, it looks like this guy's about to get a good score going. We can't trade with him anymore. If there's, I don't know, you have to be really ahead of the game, see where the path is going, and warn others before it gets too late. That's a big, important part of Roots. Anyways, there's like nothing I don't like about this game. I can't think of a single thing I don't like about this game, genuinely. Would I replay Root any day of the week? I don't care what faction I am. I'm trying to stay away from the marquee cats because it sounds too basic for me, and I appreciate Root for the complexity, but honestly, even the most simple character is still very complex to win with. So just, you know, I would play Root like any day, basically. Would I purchase Root? Considering how much I enjoy the game, the MSRP of $60, I think even I would spring for. I'm very financially responsible. I don't really buy games very much, but if I didn't own the game, and if they didn't send me a copy, I do want to own a copy of Root. Now, it's hard because when you get into Root, you want to get all in. Like, especially, you have to buy the base game. You can't play without the base game. And if there's a faction that you want, you have to buy the full expansion for it. It can add it pretty quickly. So that's why I was hesitant to buy it myself whenever I first got into board gaming, because base game 60, expansion's 30, other expansion 30, other expansion 40, adds up to quickly almost $200 real quick. Maybe you want a neoprene map. Maybe you want some card sleeves. It just adds up very quickly. But I would buy this game for 60 MSRP. I really would, to be fully honest. Now, what I do in this segment is called the final ranking. I have every single game I've reviewed and a ranking sheet from the game I like the most to the game I like the least. Number one being the game that I like the most and I want to play the most. The lowest number being the one I dislike the most and I want to stay away from the most. Overtook a brand new addition to the top 10. Root has now become number 2 of my favorite games of all time. It's very impressive, very good. The only reason it's not number 1 is because I just love Andromeda's Edge. The minis are impressive. The gameplay, it's fun. It's still combat enough, but there's still some dice rolling in there, dice mitigation. The factions, they're pretty cool. The boards you can go up. It feels like more of an overall board game, while Root feels like chess. Root is a very, like, almost chess-like experience, but it's like if everyone had you know, their own units in chess. Like, if I had just the queen, someone had 10 pawns, you had just a knight and a rook, someone had a rook and a bishop. It's just, and we're all going against each other at the same time and seeing who can get be the last one standing. It feels kind of like that. Andromeda's Edge is more like if checkers was in a movie, in an action movie type stuff. Like, it's just crazy, more simple, but definitely like, let's go ham, let's go wild, let's see what happens. And I appreciate that done very, very well. So honestly, it's hard to be Andromeda's Edge for me. It's just it's very enticing gameplay, but I would say Root right now is number 2 on that list. Scythe went down a little bit because as much as I like Scythe, it really deters conflict. It's much more difficult and to get some things going off and to get your engine going. Root, there's no engine you have to build necessarily. You have sometimes something of an engine with certain factions, but for the most part, you really can get going with where you're at and what you want to do, and just start interacting with the board and interacting with the players. And I really much appreciate that. And Scythe just has more of a slow build and less aggression in it than I want. personally. But that's everything. Let me know if you played Root. Let me know what you think about this game, whether or not you'll play it based on my review. I'm sorry if I scared you off. Some people say that I'm too like intense with describing Root, but to be fully honest, it is an aggressive game. I don't want anyone to try. I don't want anyone to get tricked into playing this game that isn't aware of the fact that this game should scare people out who don't like aggression. Don't play this game if you don't want your stuff blown up. Because you don't want people avoiding you, then we're not playing the game properly. We're discouraging interaction with players, which is quite literally the entirety of Root. We're interacting with each other while we're interacting with the board state. So, tis what tis. Let me know what you think about this game. If you like Root, if you like Arcs, if you like leader games, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to comment and say hi to me. I want to hear from you guys. So that's everything. Peace out. Have a great day. God bless. And I hope to see you at a table soon.